us, but culture man, that's the challenges that you think that you are aware of emerging contractors that are facing in the built environment?
Okay, there's quite a number of the challenges that they are facing, but for now I'll focus only on the two, which is the first one is poor pricing, and then the second one will be the lack of technical skills. So when you talk about the poor pricing, is that sometimes contractors, they fail to price their bills of quantities correctly. Their rates sometimes they tend to be very low, meaning that they are not market related. If he has to execute the actual work, it might end up costing him more than what he has priced in the bills of quantities. We call it the bills of quantities. As a result, you see contractors losing money as a result of that. And then one other thing, I think, is because mainly with the emerging contractors, the competition is so high. So you see these contractors, because they want to secure the space, to be chosen, to be the highest scoring tenders, they end up cutting costs just for the sake of getting the project. But they don't understand that sometimes when you cut it so low, you end up, it's actually disadvantaging you because you end up losing money. Because it doesn't matter whether if you've cut the cost, that you cut that price, if to excavate the rate, for example, is whatever it is, it will remain to be that amount. Or if, for example, the materials, you know that how expensive they are. So you cut the cost, they become so low, you have to remember, you must understand that on the pricing, it is the labor, it is the material, and it is your profit. You cut it so low that you end up maybe costing you more to get the person on site and the profit. See, those are the challenges that our emerging contractors, and it's very sad when you see them losing money as a result of that, because they want to secure the project, but they end up losing money. And you've seen some projects, it's either they are cancelled or they are delayed as a result of that.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge with emerging contractors is always structure. I think structure is always a challenge. When I say structure, I mean you find that there's a contractor which is 7GP grading, and that guy doesn't have like a professional quant surveyor. So it becomes a challenge when he needs to make a claim. He always depends on the quant surveyor, which is appointed by a client. So it creates like a challenge where the professional quant surveyor that it's been appointed with the client, where now he has to do the work that's supposed to be done by the contractor in terms of like doing the evaluation, and now the challenge, it's always the quant surveyor that's working for the client is he's not on site all the time to see if, say, he needs to measure. So he'll always take the measurements that's given by the contractor, and sometimes the contractor doesn't know how to measure properly, and that creates a problem now when he needs to claim. So it creates a problem because now he has this expectation that he will claim this much, only to find out now this where the quant surveyor has done his own evaluation and it's less than what he's expecting. So I think also the other challenge is it's always a problem, especially with the black emerging contractors, in terms of you find that when you compare to the white contractors, they have proper structures and they will start the same year. And after 10 years, when you count and look at the company in terms of like its own achievement, you find that the white contractor has achieved more because of their structures within the business. And our black contractors, you find out now they are struggling because they don't have proper structures. Whatever that they make, they lose it because there's no one that takes into account of the money that's coming in, the money that's going out, and managing the whole project, you see. So you'd find that the owner becomes a project manager and a quant surveyor. And I've seen, like I read the article that Sia sent me, it was shocking to see that. I think it was done in if I'm not mistaken, in Northern West, not Northwest. The study was done in Northwest, where they say that quite a number of contractors, their qualification is grade 12, grade 11. You see? So meaning that those people, they've even gone through varsity where they studied about construction. It's like someone who only did grade 12. So it becomes a challenge for that person to understand. And also what I've also picked up is the companies that I worked for, you find out the owner, he doesn't go to meetings because he doesn't understand the language of construction. So if, let's say now he's in a technical meeting and certain things are spoken there, it becomes difficult for him to articulate that to his foreman. Because he didn't understand what was said on the meeting. And sometimes he is facing a problem on site, but when he is in the meeting, now he's scared because he feels intimidated because he has only grade 12 or maybe grade 11. So now with these guys who have degrees and who are architects and quant surveyors, it becomes a challenge. And also what they do usually, they will appoint a student that's coming from varsity with no experience to be a quant surveyor and a site agent, and that student is struggling, and it's going to be difficult for him to run the business properly and do what's needed. You see, that's always a challenge. And also another challenge is the contractors. The first month they do the site establishment. After the site establishment, where they need to buy the material, they take longer because probably that guy is doing other jobs, so he has put all his money on the other job. So usually they will wait for the other job to pay out for them to buy the material. So it creates a delay. By the time maybe a 10 months duration project end up at the 5th month, that's the only time he brings the materials. So it creates that problems where they don't finish the jobs, and it's always that problem. So it also eats from his profits. So he ends up underpaying his laborers and also his professional guys who are doing.
I get to you. I think you've gone to my second item, because the first one was the poor pricing, but the second one was the lack of, I think you've elaborated it so clearly, the lack of technical skills.
Yeah,
where these contractors, they don't have the technical skills, and they don't appoint the correct like personnel, people that have got, they're highly skilled, or they've got the technical skills within the built environment, and that will assist them to be able to understand the language, as you've said, is new, and to be able to even to understand the contract, the obligation of that contract, what is expected from their side. I think those are one of the challenges. But I think we need to focus on what is it that, like, advice that we might give to those people that do not have the technical skills, and they are interested in entering this construction industry. You understand? I think on my side is to say, like I've said, the poor pricing. Make sure you get the quantity surveyor or an estimator who understands how to price the bill correctly, so that you won't be losing money on that contract. Because rather you don't get the contract than to get it at a very low price and you end up losing money. So I think that's what is critical. And number two, on the technical, on that lack of technical skills that Nuseli has just mentioned, make sure you have a quantity surveyor, because it's not easy to understand the industry. It will not be easy for you if you don't have the technical skill to understand the bills of quantities, to submit the claim. In order for a client to pay you fairly, you must be able, at least as a contractor, to be able to challenge the client if he's not paying you what is due to you. Because in some instances, for example, in the bills of quantities, we've got items that are measured provisionally. So it means that they might change based on the circumstances on site. So you must be able to say, hi, quantity surveyor, there the quantities on the foundation, you've allowed a meter and I've gone 2 meters deep. and this is what is required. I need that money. So if you don't have a quantity surveyor or someone who has the experience to challenge that person, you might end up not being paid fairly. So that's why it's important for you, even if you do not have that technical skill, try at least to appoint people that have the technical skill, that will be able to do what is expected from them. The other thing on the technical skill, which I've seen from the contractors, is the quality of workmanship, which is poor. They appoint guys that do not have the skill, or they are not experienced enough. You appoint that person, he's cheap, he doesn't have the skill, and then he does painting for you. And then when the principal agent or an architect comes on site, he's not happy with what you have done, you'll be asked to redo that work. And unfortunately, when you redo it, I won't be paying you as a quantity surveyor the second time. I won't be paying you for redoing that work. You'll be redoing it at your own expense. That's where the money is. That's when you'll be losing the money.
Just to wrap up, when now Usi has said her solutions, what do you think some of the solutions that contractors can bring to the workspace?
Okay. Wrapping it up, I think the contractors, especially I'll speak the major contractors, meaning from, let's say, from grade 3 to grade 4 and grade 5. I think what they need to do is, as the owner, they can go to the universities and do short courses on the project management.
Good.
They can do, and also they can go to colleges and do maybe brickworking and let's say plastering and let's say carpentry, so that you understand what you're doing. When you bring the guys, you bring the guys where you test them and you test the quality, so that you test something that you know. Is it? And also when you're employing a student, take the student, put him under, let's say now, if you know friends that have got companies that have been established, take the student to learn maybe a couple of weeks, then you can bring it, then he runs and give the student a room so that he makes mistakes and learn, but monitoring the student. And also there's another problem that I think the contractors are facing, is when they need to price. You find out maybe that system of choosing the lowest, you'll find out now the client always squeezes the margin, and you find out now the contractors, they have to price it very low just to get the job, because they'll get the job because they don't want to lose their subcontractors, so it's always a challenge now.